I'm going to read this scary story called The Sock Puppet. Now, this doesn't sound scary, but this is a scary Christmas story. Beware. So, many years ago in Ireland, there was a wealthy man who lived in a small village. He owned every single plot of land surrounding the village and rented them out to the poor farmers to make a tidy profit. The man lived in the biggest house in the village, and his lovely wife and his two strong sons and one sickly daughter. He was kind to all his children and treated his wife like a queen. However, in business he was ruthless and cunning. He made lots of money by charging the villagers high rent and treated all the tenants as if they were slaves. If any one of them was behind on rent, he would throw them out of the houses without a moment's notice. The villagers hated the rich man and despised his cruel misery ways. And he often threw lavish parties, inviting only his friends and family, and living like a king, while the poor villagers had to scrimp and save just to keep their bellies full. All they could afford was a meager diet of bread and potatoes. One year, there was a potato blight, and all of the crops were affected. As winter set in, the villagers were starving to death. The rich man paid no attention to the troubles of his tenants and responded by raising the rents. Then, as if that wasn't enough, he threw a Christmas party for his friends and family where they enjoyed an enormous feast and drank what? Sarcastic. I figured it out. Sarcastic toast to the plight of the starving servants. So he had a toast to the starving people to make fun. Great. That night, one villager arrived at the door bearing a gift. He said it was a Christmas present for the rich man's daughter. The girl opened it and found it was a sock puppet. The villager said he had knitted it himself and asked if he might have some food in return. The rich man handed the villager one single solitary potato and sent him on his way. Although it was a hideous old rag, the daughter seemed to love that sock puppet and named it Charlie and put it on her hand, showing it to everyone at the party. That night, after the party was over, Steffi's getting ready for bed, so ignore that. The father was going to bed. He paused at his daughter's room and looked at her. She was fast asleep. Just as he was about to leave, something disturbed him. The sock puppet was still on her hand, and its plastic eyes seemed to be staring straight at him. He ignored it and walked away, thinking he was imagining things. That night, as the rich landlord and his wife slept in their chambers, they heard a knock on the door. It was their daughter. Charlie says he needs to speak to you. They saw the daughter walk in. Oh my gosh. There was blood dripping from one hand, and the sock puppet was on the other, staring at both of them. Charlie already spoke with Jacob and Michael, said the daughter, moving the sock puppet's mouth as he spoke. Now he must speak with you. For weeks the rich man's house laid eerily silent. The villagers saw no candles in the windows and no smoke from the chimney. Eventually they decided to check on the family and what they discovered shook them to their core. In the living room sat the two brothers, both strong young men, had their heads twisted off and placed on their hands, as if their hands were sock puppets. Hi. The same had happened to the parents, where they were found dead and decaying in their beds. The most disturbing sight of all was the little girl. She was sitting in the corner of the bedroom, her head severed upon and balancing on one hand, smiling sweetly with her eyes wide open, and on the other hand was a sock puppet. Due to rigor mortis, her arms were sticking out, and it seemed as if the two hands were speaking to each other. Just recently, a family moved into the house. They moved to the country because the family doctor said it might help their sick daughter recover from her illness. Everything was fine until one night, when the mother heard her daughter call out. Before the mother opened the door, her daughter was heard talking, and she peeked in, and the girl was fast asleep. Hi. What did you say, honey? Asked the father as he returned to his wife. The mother paused before speaking. I have no idea, she said. The poor thing must be talking in her sleep. Do you know where she got that awful sock puppet she's wearing on her hand? It seems like it's staring at me. Oh my gosh. So I guess that guy got payback, if that's what you want to call it. It's kind of dark. But all these scary stories are dark. So there. That's that story. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.